One of the biggest mistakes that I see founders of new companies and leaders in general make all the time is the avoidance of conflict. A great mindset to have as a leader of a company is to just assume that there's always going to be conflict. There's so much conflict. You have team members that think you should be doing different things. You have customers that are upset with you because your product or service did something slightly different than what they were expecting. You have investors upset at you because you're running the business in a slightly different way than they ran a business when they were operating a company. And so a lot of the art of being a founder, of being a CEO, of being a leader is just simply managing conflict. And so, for example, I see in many cases, you bring on a new person into a company, and that person's maybe doing okay but not great. And you know as the leader, you know as their manager, that they're really not working out. And we kick the can down the road. We push a decision out to let them go because we don't want to deal with the conflict of that situation. And by avoiding that conflict, you're often adding a team member that you don't have confidence in, that other people may not have confidence in, that you know is not a right fit, and is really just dragging down the energy and productivity of your company. A second example is where you know that there's conflict within your team. Maybe one of your direct reports is upset at you about something, or maybe two of your team members are just having a hard time get along. Sometimes it's a good policy to let things lie and see if they just work out. And other times, especially when they've been dragging on for a long time, the best thing to do is approach it head on. So in many situations, I would pull two people into a room and I'd simply say to them, I know the two of you aren't getting along. I know you're upset at each other. You got to fix this. Go to coffee, go to lunch, hang out, but don't come back to the office until you have an understanding of how it is that you're going to work together. And I just simply left it at that. And by forcing people to have to communicate with each other with really no other mandate than, hey, go figure out what's got you upset at each other, it created an environment where the employees were going to figure out how to manage through the situation, and that conflict couldn't persist as an ongoing cancer and disease in the company. A third situation that you'll often see conflict are customers that are upset at you about something your company does. And so many times I would get notices on Twitter about something people didn't like about our company. And my reaction was always to immediately respond to them, take responsibility, say, hey, we're sorry about this, we messed up, let us know what we can do to make this right, and respond right away. And by not either avoiding the situation or pushing it off for later, I often found that the folks that were the most upset at us turned into our biggest ambassadors. A lot of times as especially a new founder of a company, as a first-time CEO, you don't want to have conflict in your workplace because you associate it with meaning that you're doing a bad job. You'll think, oh, what are my investors going to say? What are the other employees going to say? My job should be able to prevent conflict from coming up. When in fact, that's the exact opposite. Conflict A gives you an opportunity to learn, and B, it makes sure that you're making decisive decisions which are going to push the company forward. In general, in business and in life, if we make passive decisions or if we make wishy-washy decisions, the feedback that we're going to get is going to be unclear, and it's going to take a long time to get that feedback. Whereas when we make very decisive decisions, we get the feedback very quickly and very concretely, whether it's the right decision or the wrong decision. And so we both have to disassociate from the fact that conflict means that somebody may not like us, but it also means we have to disassociate with the fact that it means that we're doing a bad job. Because if we just avoid conflict to make it seem like everything's going fine, then clearly the most important issues that you're having interpersonally with other people in your office, that you're having with your customers, that you're having trying to build and get traction for a product aren't getting solved. And often the worst thing that you can do is just avoid conflict and say, I'll deal with this later, because you're not going to get the signals that you need on what you should be doing to improve your business. And so the very best thing that you can do is where you see a conflict situation come up, address it head on deal with it right away, and you're almost in every case going to find out that your business is growing and that you're growing because of it.